the two topics that he would like to hear about. First one is explain. I'm going to put it in how he said it, and then I'm going to kind of adjust it a little bit. But he said, explain how real estate has changed in the past 20 years. I can kind of talk a little bit about it, but I'm going to go more on what it's been like the last like 9 to 10 years since I've been in it. But first off, in the past 20 years, we're going back to, 1999? So I was third or fourth grade at the time, so I was a little kid. But taking that into consideration, my dad has been in it for a long time. I just remember the early 2000s, and of course, coming from stories of current agents that have been around for a long time, or my dad, he kind of talked about that back then everything was just like crazy. There were so many homes selling and buying and things like that, and obviously our economy was very good at the time.
Yeah.
Probably too good, which is why we've had kind of a little bit of a bubble in 7 and 8. But basically, what happened was we had very high home prices, we had the record amount of sales, things like that. Well, 2007-8 came along, that totally tanked. And I say totally tanked. I mean, relative to the area, it did. Obviously, relative to nationally, we weren't as bad as some major places in the area. You start going like Florida and Las Vegas and Detroit and all these places that really got hit hard. We weren't that extreme.
Yeah.
We usually our peaks aren't as drastic as other places in the country, but relative to our normal area, took a big drop. I came in January of 2011. January 2011 is like basically my first official month.
Mm-hmm.
We were at the very low end of that. It was definitely a buyer's market, meaning that there was a ton of homes for sale, which is opposite. We'll get to that, I guess, but opposite what we see now. Ton of homes for sale. Not a lot of people that could afford them because they had been so used to the old lending practices, which were no more, and they got much more stricter.
Yeah.
So I came in very much a buyer's market. You could go see multiple houses. You could see them the next week. You could see them the next month. They're still in the market. And prices slowly dropped because people had to get out from under their homes. We saw more foreclosures, more short sales. So every year since 2011, so the past 9 years, we have been climbing in price. We have been climbing in the amount of buyers that can afford homes.
Mm-hmm.
And we have been decreasing the amount of people selling their homes. And that balance, that buyer's market, shifted into a seller's market, I'd say about a year and a half. We started seeing it probably close to 2 years ago, but I'd say about a year and a half to a year ago is when we really kind of definitely flipped the tide on there, flipped the switch on that. And now we're in what we call a seller's market,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that there's not a lot of homes for sale. A lot of buyers are now used to the guidelines and practices and things that you need to have done in order to get a loan. That's now become the new norm. Anybody that's buying their first home, like you've never known anything different. So you're comfortable at it. Where people back that were trying to buy in 2008, 9, 10, 11, it was new to them. Like crap, we got to now start saving up. So that pushed things back a few years. So we've seen it now switch to a seller's market. So I guess from a inventory price standpoint like that, that's what has changed.